So what I also wanted to do, there are two things I wanted to accomplish today. One was, to the extent that we can, let you guys see some of the data center operations maturity model, just so you can see the detail, how detailed it is, what it's all about. Probably not a whole lot of time for that. I think maybe we'll spend about 10 minutes. So if you were in the previous session on Monday when we did this, there may be a fair bit of repeat, so bear with us, it won't last too terribly long. But then after that, we left yesterday off at the end, wanting to come out of this with, I think, somewhere in between a long and a short list of working groups that we want to consider going forward. We're not necessarily coming out of this with these are the 2 or the 3 working groups that are going to see the most action, but really kind of identify them based on the discussions that we had up till now, and then after the fact we'll continue the conversation because there are those who are remote and see where the interest lies, and then this will be accomplished through the mailing list. I'm going to try and send out a summary for the whole thing, including the working groups that we come up with as a result of this, and then continue the conversation that way. All right. Does anyone else need this right now? I'll put it back up in a few minutes, but now you do. This is in here. It's Facility Operations Maturity Model. That was the original name of the document. We'll change that. We'll go through the introduction first. The context of what we're talking about. I'm not going to read it to you, so just give you a minute or two to read through the introduction. So, the most important takeaway is probably the first line of the scope paragraph. Being optimizing their operational programs and data center operational programs with business objectives. That'd be the first. The second is self-analysis as a possibility. So you figure out where in each of these categories align to your business objectives. Also determine through a self-analysis where you are, develop a plan to fill any of those gaps in any of these things. And then through, you may be okay just staying there, but probably most through a continuous improvement program are going to identify areas for improvement and say, okay, well, we wanted to be here, we've achieved that, now where can we make additional improvements or potential optimizations, and then strive to either maintain or improve. Any questions on that so far? What this is actually intended to achieve? Fairly straightforward, I think. Yeah, we talked about 7 disciplines, time level maturity. So this is the model definition for levels of maturity. So each one builds on the previous one. So you start off with the initial ad hoc, where you may or may not have evidence of the issues recognized need to be addressed. There's in terms of processes, nothing really standardized. It's kind of like what might call it a break fix, or just kind of putting out fires. A lot of people look at it that way. And so on the right, these are examples of what you see or whatever. And you look as you go down, the first one is no awareness of the importance of the issue, no documentation, no monitoring, no activity improvement actions take place, and then no training. And then as you go down, you'll see that built on it. So then you have some awareness of the importance, but then still no documentation, no monitoring, etc. And then finally, when you get to this repeatable but intuitive, defined process, and we'll see the asterisk next to formal training, and this defined. Measurable, where you have continuous improvement as part of the organized effort to achieve operational excellence. Finally, you get into the optimized part, where really the big component to all of this is using IT systems, operational support systems, that kind of thing, where possible, to automate the workflow and really have this tool to improve effectiveness and efficiency of all of your operations. And then I said the formal training is defined here. It's activities, a set of activities rather than defined purposes, written materials, full implementation. Questions on the definition so far? So when this was developed, there was a lot of attention paid to defining the characteristics and achieving them through what is there, not through what's missing. Right? So it is a positive verification that you need to have A, B, C, D. It's defined as this, you check it and you see it, and if you meet all those criteria, then you meet the criteria for that level. Versus saying something isn't there, or something isn't evident, or anything like that. That's a lot fuzzier. It's harder to give evidence to the lack of something. So all of the, like I said, all the development of this was with that in mind. So as you go through, and if you do participate in the community review section, process, try to keep that in mind. If you have proposed changes or additions and all of that, I encourage everyone to do that, but we'll have to probably want to keep that theme in mind. All right, so I'm going to go back up to the outline. Is there anything, it's the same thing I did on Monday, ask if there's any particular area that you guys would like to take a look at. Get C as an example. And I'll go through, it's pretty long. What's that? Oh, thanks. Decent, okay.
Wi-Fi is prior to being here.
Okay, all right. Go there. It's already. It's on the wiki. Yeah, it's in the specs under review. Yep. And actually, if you have your machine with you, you can add it. But anyway, so each section has a definition of it. So kind of like an intro to it. So here we have this little blurb about DSIM, integrated IT facility system management, specialized software, hardware, sensors, etc. This again, provides significantly more comprehensive view of all the resources. So then, if we go down to the different levels of maturity and criteria for them, we don't necessarily need to debate the finer points of this. If there's anything you disagree with, great. Just keep those in mind as we do have the community comment. So level 1 being ad hoc, right? Facility, the IT, they work operating silos. There's a good amount of effort, duplication, lack of coordination. And that doesn't happen, does it?
You know, it's interesting when you're talking on levels of maturity in technology. Kind of, with information out of technology, going back together. I was in a role and I brought into the medical device industry. Kind of changed everything. The interesting thing is the goal here is to get things more standardized, more streamlined, more under control. Yet in startups and revolutionary and radical technology, the last thing you want is things too standardized and far along. So it's funny, no judgment about anything being negative, but it's interesting because I'm at a startup company that's just inventing things to go along. And the more people try to put standards and processes in place, the more people start freaking out. That's going to hold us up. That's going to stop us. So I'm really interested in this dance, this place of how do you keep things forward, revolutionary, exciting, radical things that are monetizable and appropriate, yet how do you stop the duplication of effort and waste of time and lack of improvement?
Yeah.
And I know this may not be the form for that, but that's this is
I don't know if I'd.
Yeah, if your startup is trying to do really interesting things, yeah, if you're trying to do interesting things, startups trying to do interesting things in the data center space, they may want to try out some stuff in the data center space. But if you've got a business that's still trying to do revolutionary stuff, look, your data center is supporting that. You want your data center changing all the time, doing kind of crazy stuff, because then your data center is going to fail you when your business isn't doing crazy things in the data center.
Here's what I'll say about that as it relates to DSIM. I would say the vast majority of DSIM startups are targeting to help companies achieve level 4 and level 5, or sorry, level 5 because we don't really define 4 because 4 directly incorporates a lot of like management oversight. It's not really part of DSIM. But anyway, would you agree that, I mean, so if I go back to the difference in level 5, it's the use of IT to help push and automate and all of that. That's essentially what we're talking about. So Jeff is right, at least from my opinion, and this is the framework for data center operations, right? Once the data center is up and running. So there aren't a whole lot of like, actually none that I really know of, unless you include like prefab modular guys, but not really a lot of like data center startups like, that give you a data center and operations is what I mean. Right? Most of the startup side is technologies to simplify either the IT or the facility side of the environment. Would you agree with that?
or the service side. What kind of service data center could provide?
IT service, you mean?
Some kind of IT, SaaS,
Yeah.
open space, where that's pretty revolutionized. Yeah. And I see what is social organization. It's your data center's not changing things.
Yeah,
Something has to be pinned down.
yeah, you don't touch your electrical guys and revolutionary stuff. It's you just want it to your lights to turn out.
So in,
Chief common language too.
yeah.
You want to be able to say, oh, I understand this data center will fly.
Yeah.
It's a relative free
Right. What were you going to say?
I was about that.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion, your business is. I would say that maybe your business is you don't want to change yeah, more effectively, then that's the Exactly. You want the services you rely on, like your data centers mostly. Just
So, so I would go back to your point about if you're a startup and you don't want to adhere to standards and you want to be able to move quickly and pivot when necessary and all of that. I would say that this type of thing would actually be, not this category alone, but just this framework in general, would be very helpful for them because they're going to be looking to, depending what they are, maybe if they're a hosting startup, they're going to be looking maybe to co-location. If they are, might have to deploy some services out to AWS or Google App Engine or whatever, but also have some in-house and maybe have a rack here and there. And there are reasons that they're going to want each of those things, right? So it would be very helpful for them to look at this type of framework and say, these are the things that are important for my business, my current objectives. And you go out and you find those. Maybe you even down the road, you have a database of self-assessed or whatever, and they say, okay, that works. But then when they make the change, they can retract and say, okay, well, now these are the important things, and they can find the providers that meet those rather than, the unknowns or due diligence or whatever. It's a common terminology and understanding and agreement across the industry for this type of thing. So that's my perspective.
I think what you're trying to put me sounds like, exactly why we're building clouds, right? Because we have people in our organizations that need to move quickly. Back in the old days, you ordered the server, you loaded all the stuff, 90 days later, you run, over code, right? Now, if you've got an OpenStack or, VMware Farm, or even, as Jason said, you got the AWS, and hell, you could be writing code in the next 5 minutes, right? But you want to be writing code on a server that ain't going to go down in the next 5 minutes, too, right? And somebody didn't pull the network port out, somebody didn't bring the database down, all of that stuff. So giving flexibility while keeping a strong infrastructure, that's cloud. Because that's, to me, that's why we're doing all this stuff. So it should make you very efficient.
Gives flexibility to what?
Well, in my mind, I think of cloud as really giving developers kind of what they want in real time, right? That's so that your dev guys are constantly, if you're a DevOps shop, you're constantly iterating your code, right? What the cloud allows you to do is I can build you a really, really solid infrastructure. You're never going to cut it data center. You're never going to see your server, right? Because I'm going to run it, and you're not going to bring your code in, and if you bring your code in, I'm going to throw your ass out. All of those things. But what you want is you want uptime, you want flexibility, you want to click that button and get it. And that I can give to you. But I can only give that to you and give you an SLA with it if you stay the hell out of the data center. Right. And just, a little bit facetious.
Okay, I don't care. We're here, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But that gives you that flexibility, but that doesn't mean I'm flexible in the way I run the data center. I'm inflexible in the way I run the data center.
You look behind me. Behind me, everything to be in place, they forward to the front. Developers, servers, service, startups, even large companies, whatever they want.
Sure. And there's a difference between dev, test, production, right? Production is bulletproof, don't ever touch it, all that stuff. Where we're iterating and doing all this stuff, that's in depth. And we're going to break stuff. We're going to break stuff a lot. Right? But ideally, when we break stuff, it doesn't affect production.
So I think we have time to go through one more of these. Does that provide you the insight? Is there any other area that anybody else wanted to take a look at? I'm going to go back to the outline. Weekend's coming up, so if you don't have plans, this is a really good thing to do on the weekend. There isn't anything as hard So,
Someone else over here.
oh, it's sort of a sub, or maybe there are sub elements on that, right? So risk analysis communication, you've got risk identification, documentation, documentation approval. We actually, of course, you had to choose the one that has a lot of verbiage.
Look at this thing.
Okay. All right. All right. So let's go back to the definition. Right? We take into account level of risk, and we classify the operation procedures, whether they exist in documented or visual format, whatever. We don't really describe that here, but they are classified by the level of risk to the continuous operation of whatever is considered low, and then health and safety goes to two. Consider the predicted effect of the procedure on redundancy, and then with each affected facility. Level risk is probably displayed on the documentation, communicated in whatever application for change management, and then whenever you change level of risk during the procedure, you suspend the activity when, of course, it's easy to do so, and then move on to notification to the customer. So ad hoc level. Ad hoc, you acknowledge the risk, address it on case by case, and risks are generally identified through remembering past failures. More or less, level 2 is like when a risk analysis is requested. So you can do it, but it's just not part of the normal procedures. Just lifeblood of what it is you do. Then you get into you classify the procedures based on the level of risk. Consistent, and then training is a portion of it. For process improvement, there's a difference. For some operation procedures, classified by level of risk as pertains to continuous operation. And then level 5 is level of risk is prominently displayed on most. And management continuous monitors and or audits to continue to identify areas. I don't specify what percentage level for what most is, but if you're 50-50, it might be somewhat of an unknown, but if you're 10-90, it's probably pretty good. So yeah, we layer in IT on this, so risk is clearly communicated in change management organizations. Workflow risk analysis is an integral part of automated systems based upon the results feeding into continuous improvement. All right, so now we're going to move into the, we got like 15 minutes. I want to move into developing a list for the working group points. Oh, and by the way, if you are just new here, please go to the Etherpad link there, which is the notes for this conference. And at the top, you'll see participants. Just put your name down as having attended, your name, company, because Amber and others use this as one of the many inputs to keeping track of company contributions. I'll show you just anyone else.
I think the iTunes store is dead.
I'm not trying to do that.
Oh,
This is that. In the past, there have been issues with that.
yeah, I'm getting it.
Why that name? But anyway, we're there. So, did you put the notes yesterday in here?
No.
For this, because I want to use the notes from yesterday, all the talking points, to help with the I'll add it later. Now, bear with my awesome OCP Gmail feed. You guys read that?
Yeah. Yes.
Alright, so let's go down this. Talk about what we want to do as part of the control systems. I think we'd all agree that that was a pretty hot topic. What do you think? Alright, let's go. That one on this. Schemes. So control guidelines for installation and inspection. All right, so as far as controls go, what do you guys think you want to consider as the first parts of this? Just control guidelines or what? Any?
I should start with that. Let's see. Get specifics. Just item key A. So it's just like this.
Yeah, I think starting more generic
Yeah.
and working towards more specific, just because there's a lot that we don't know.
I agree. And so, I guess along with that, do we include DSIM as part of the controls, DSIM guidelines? I mean, in a way it is, but I can see it maybe falling into its own category.
Definitely falls into some category. Frequency, such as problem solving.
Uh-huh. All right. Well, that's true. Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right. So I think we probably agree that we have DSIM also as part of as a potential working group.
Yeah.
There may be some overlap in people with working controls and DSIM, but part of this, at least the way I see it, is we probably want to have the definition as the first part of the guideline, whatever it is we're talking about. All right. Is all that packing away, or are you taking notes again?
I've gotten some of it. I haven't gotten the rest.
Let's see. Yeah, that kind of, I think I'm truncated. I'm not sure what happened there. Steve, potentially adding other sensors to the PC to help with.
Just instrumentation.
Okay. All right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, like third. Someone said something along the lines of third-party verification of the operation of control systems. And I think, actually, I had a thought about that last night. Is when you have this sea of sensors or whatever, how do you deal with calibration? Right? How do you do calibration verification and all of that? I mean, that's a huge. Okay.
Data center people just trust that they recalibrate. That is something we can do. People just they get a box of sensors and they walk around and attach it. And they, yay, we have sensors. Which is better than they had before, but
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yep. Yep. Anyway, that the calibration aspect would, in my mind, be part of the verbiage within instrumentation.
even certainly a lot of there is what
Yep.
they have.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. Yeah. All right. So we only got a couple minutes here. We may end up just continuing this discussion. Let's see. Let's see which sequences. Mapping, interaction, hypothetical. That still falls into what we were already talking about, right? Data science. And this is when we were shooting for the moon, and what we'd like to see. But quite honestly, I think so I brought this up, but I think there are some other things that need to happen before we get into that. I'm not even sure how to encapsulate that would fall maybe into the functionality of DSIM, or maybe even whatever the evolution is past DSIM. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, I think the data center analytics is one that's a lot less defined than, I mean, we all know a lot more about our control systems and that kind of stuff. I think the data center analytics is very much tomorrow's.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if there's any priorities for that, but that is like a lower priority. Still be. That's what we're discussing now. Yeah. What do you guys think about the inclusion of CMS in here as guidelines for it? The reason this was brought up is because I saw that there was a lot of need for it, and potentially we could have a drop in if we do end up bringing public meetings before. I don't know that we necessarily need a working group for it per se, maybe. It may be an easy thing. We do end up saying, like, oh yeah, that sounds good, and it's contributed, right? Because it's operational. The whole thing is done. Or if they say no, then might be any feelings on how to handle that as far as the working group goes. Opinions.
I think it's important. My biggest concern is, just time to get stuff done.
For all of this? For
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I'm not saying that we're coming out of this with this is what we're starting to work on tomorrow.
Yep.
This is developing, kind of aggregating the discussion into some initial list of what we might consider, and then we'll whittle it down and prioritize. So do you think we should add RCM as a potential addition to the list? Maintenance. Yep. So you're saying just start with maintenance as the high category, and then some do, some don't. Yeah. Okay.
If it does that, either there is a management program without maintenance.
Maybe.
I agree on that side, but I can certainly see that you're sure enough for a decent model, but you still need to see it.
That's a good. I mean, you
Yeah. I don't see any flaws in that. So, what's the takeaway from that in terms of adding to the working group list? Do we feel like maintenance is the high level, and then we develop under there other pieces, or what? I'm still not personally totally clear on how to distill that down to what we're trying to get out of this.
I don't like the idea of starting grouping those two together. He said the CNS. Starting with the CNS, but quite frankly, it doesn't get much attention. And he said gets tons of attention. On the side of, there's so many uses. But maintenance.
Yep.
That sexy piece sounds. Start off with, make tons of money. Emerson's not going to buy it.
Okay. All right. I think a lot of this. I think a lot of this will crystallize a little bit better as we do review the maturity model, because there are sections in there, and you have to forgive me, I don't remember all 87 pages in their entirety, but we do talk about operations maintenance, CMMSs are in there. Obviously, we looked a little bit at the DSIM and all of that. So these finer points that we're talking about right now, I think as we do have some time to read through that, personally, it'll refine my thinking on this. I hope it would do the same for others. But anyhow, we need to wrap up now because we all have to be up there in 4 minutes. So look for the notes later. They might come from me, might not.
I just sent you the
For today? All right, cool. Actually, I think yep, there it is. Just felt it buzz in here. All right. All right, thanks everybody. Sorry
Thank you.
to cut it so quickly back. That's right. I should have
That's why my mind works. I think I'm good.
It says data center in there. And then aside, it shows there's a reference wiki. All that goes through online. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, yeah.
How's it going?
Good, yeah.
I can't complain.
Nice.
Yep, yeah.
Nice.
So,
Kind of like it's like maybe we just I've got these two questions. One, do you think it's a system?
I do. I mean, even my laptop that I use, I think I've got 2 versions of Linux. I've got that I can go to. I've got Windows I can go to, and then under Windows I've got a virtual machine with at least 2 different more versions. I have frequently I'll have Windows running on the bottom, and my Linux taskbar on the top will be running seamlessly both operating systems at the same time. With OpenBox.
Yeah. No. VirtualBox.
VirtualBox,
Yeah.
yes.
VirtualBox,
Thanks.
yeah.
That's the one. Yeah, so I mean, that's the way I like to run. It just seems to me like